We in vlog number 2 now, except it's not going to be vlog number 2, it's going to be vlog number 1.5, because it's going to piggyback off of the last one, because it's introductory, and it's not quite substantive yet. But unlike the last video, it's going to be an entertaining video. It's going to be a good video, because I get to explain a shift in consciousness that is happening now. When I made the channel, I think everybody was sensing that there was going to be a spiritual shift or whatever in 2020 or 2019 or whatever. And I think it was just the realization that I mean, you had hints of it on the internet for like last decade, but I think occult internet black magic was fully realized back then, and everybody, I think, collectively realized that they could be evil little sorcerers and rile people up by portraying the world in a certain way in these little kind of online niches and groups. Like for instance, there's a Instagram account that people used to follow back in like 2019, 2020, called, and the whole point of the account was basically just to post like Snapchat articles that show how bad the youth is now, the direction that the world is going in. And it's like, I mean, first of all, like realistically speaking, who fucking reads Snapchat news, dude? Like nobody. There's much more crucial things you could be talking about, but you're not. It's like fucking like I don't know, articles about like cyborg children and fucking toddlers on their fucking whatever. Like it's not that important. But the point of the account is not any genuine activism or even like red pilling or whatever. Not that I have an issue with spreading awareness about what young children are looking at on social media, and how there's obviously like, yeah, there's an agenda that's being pushed with fucking certain stuff that might be a little dicey to talk about right now. Like obviously there's an issue. It's the presentation that's really the worst part, because it's not really describing any awareness or what parents and stuff can do. Because first of all, I don't really know how many followers of that account are even parents. Like I think a lot of it was like probably people like around my age or older who wanted to find something to rally about and talk very loudly about. And there's plenty of walls of text of people kind of info dumping their own like manifestos about stuff and ideology, instead of kind of more grounded in practical stuff. And it's like being a rageaholic basically. People thrive off of looking at this stuff that's produced every single day, that's literally junk that most people probably don't even read, because who the fuck reads Snapchat news? Nobody. They have an endless supply of just cess that they can focus on and just completely ignore everything else that's happening in the country and create their own stupid world. And it's very stupid and dangerous to group all of these riled up people together in one little community, because they get to think that they can manifest stuff. And this is partially what I wanted to talk about, was this blasphemous idea that the law of attraction is somehow real, and that if your willpower is somehow strong enough, then you can just make things happen. And not only that, but we get to affirm uh, social Darwinism and all these other things. And I think that that's stupid. And that's really the shift that happened. That's the spiritual shift in 2020. Is this idea that everybody thinks that they're a magician or a sorcerer, and people uncovered the black magic of social science and uh, fucking. It's worse when you combine that with like online political ideology and people's interest in strange avant-garde like music projects and stuff online. Everybody is becoming obsessed with symbols and what these symbols invoke in people. And there just comes a point where you see all these communities of people that are woke on stuff, and they're spreading these symbols, they're invoking things, and there's something demonic about that. Like everybody just simultaneously became initiated in like black magic. It's not like fucking red pill shit anymore. It's something else, and that's the worst problem. Is when you have, I mean, just on the purely like political side of things, not even talking about like art or like the music people listen to, but on the purely political realm of things, you have 14-year-olds talking about accelerationism and all this other stuff as if they know what that means. And to me, it's no different than like progressivism or uh, heretical religious movements that we've seen in the past, like Sabbatean Frankism, right? Tempting God himself to creating so much sin and so much confusion and stepping over so many people to where you're forcing God to respond to you. You're trying to speed run the New Jerusalem by uh, killing as many people as possible and making stuff as horrible as possible. And I feel like a lot of people now implicitly believe in this. Uh, and if they don't consciously believe that, then at the very least, uh, people revel in the misery of others and they use people as scaffolding to spiritually ascend. And that is disgusting. It is absolutely horrible. Um, like, you have no idea what you're doing. You have no idea what punishment waits for you when you do this, when you step on other people. There's. I'm not going to go in that way. But you are not manifesting. You are not channeling some kind of willpower. You are not. You are not becoming a deity. You know what I mean? You're not. You're not doing any of these things. The whole triumph of the will stuff is not true. You have been deceived by Satanists. You are lost. And you trying to seize these opportunities to get clout, you are going to die, basically. Uh, Besides that, uh, and also just like activism in general, like all these people starting their own political parties and whatnot, it is futile. You are not paying attention to providence. You do not know how to read the world or anything. You think that you can conjure up enough willpower and create a powerful enough aesthetic that you can turn something real. This is evil. You have been deceived if you believe this. But also, I'm not suggesting in this video that you should just care about nothing and, have no opinions on anything ever. Or, because the people who believe in that are also super evil. Because, I mean, they're no different. They're also waiting for hell to happen so they can take advantage of it. They just think that people's methods are useless and they'll make fun of you. But then they'll just make fun of anybody for caring. And I partially fell into that camp, and I'm still repenting for it because I still struggle with that to some degree. I try to be less cynical these days, but I used to be like, uh, why do you even care? Why are you getting so worked up about something that's not? You're gonna suffer. We're all gonna suffer. You know what I mean? It's not gonna matter until what's done is done. So you might as well just wait until things get up to that point. And usually people who believe in stuff like that, their pastime is just fucking with people and being as annoying and disingenuous as possible. And then when people give uh, sincere reactions, because I mean this is super disingenuous. You're conjuring up emotions in people, and then and then at the same time you're being like, why the fuck do you care, dude? Why are you getting angry, dude? Just be apathetic like me. Just you know, that's stupid. Don't do that. I did that. I feel bad. I'll explain it like this. So, uh, God Himself only allows evil to exist for a time. Well, I mean, in some sense, evil doesn't really exist either. At least on its own, evil is a perversion of the good. It's something that uh, it's the good that is misaligned or is in excess, or there's not enough of it. It's diminished, or something in the hierarchy of goods is misplaced. And what this causes is entropy or death, essentially. We don't have to live in a dualistic cosmos in which evil is like a necessary part of existence and you have to manipulate it, you have to min max it to get the best result. Uh, you know, which is what a lot of people probably online believe in these days. Uh, we don't live in that world. Evil is not a necessary part of existence. It's merely a part of human beings' free will, which is basically just the free will to annihilate ourselves. Uh, we ruin this world. We ruin this planet. Our nature is fallen, but God will use this evil uh, to draw out a greater good. Uh, when the Israelites were in apostasy, He sent like actual heathens and uh, like Gentiles to destroy His own temple. When you sin, you open yourself up to demons, and God allows these demons to judge you and to torment you and to do all these things in hopes that you don't want to deal with them anymore and you'll go back to God. Right? That's an example of how He can use two bad things to draw out like a good thing from that. Or the crucifixion, I guess, is like the most obvious thing. It's the worst scandal that's ever happened, but it's our means of salvation, right? Uh, and because of this, I think we have to be more providential. We have to view stuff providentially. Uh, we can't use evil for our own good, uh, because we would be evil and we would be contaminated, and then we would be closer to death, separation from God. But rather, we follow God, and God will bend the evil, he'll subvert the evil to deliver us. The world is a very evil place, but it's going to bring out extremely virtuous people. I think that we cannot deceive ourselves into seizing our opportunities and manifesting and uh, falling for Darwinism and all sorts of other things. We should trust in God to be able to deliver us from our situation somehow. Whether it's like an Exodus type of situation to where uh, we paint the blood of the Lamb on our doors to protect us from death, while it spreads to the other people who are in rebellion, uh, or whatever. It's that's the type of situation we're in, not any type of personal accelerationism that we can conjure up, or having a more powerful will than other people. It's not like that at all. God will find a way to deliver his servants from slavery, and it takes faith. It doesn't take occultism or Prometheanism or any of these things. It doesn't take. There's a difference between uh, spreading the word and spreading the truth to all these people versus riling people up and grassroots activism, essentially all this bullshit. Uh, you might think that you can outsmart the world because you know how the universe works or something, but God can see through you. God can see through you, and he knows what you're up to, and he already has a way to make you humble yourself, or